If the title of the video wasn't apparent enough, today I'm going to be...
But Mbuff, the title doesn't make sense. You are a gacha editor already.
I mean, yeah. But I couldn't think of anything else to title it, so...
You're also not popular enough to do an undercover. This is stupid.
Let me be a trend hopper in peace, alright? Anyway, as I was saying, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be going undercover on both TikTok and YouTube as a gacha editor. If you just came here for the undercover experience and aren't interested in hearing about the process of getting the accounts ready for the experiment, feel free to skip ahead to the timestamp I put on the screen. Before anything, I want to go over my goals for this video as well as my predictions for how this might go. My goals for this video are, for one, to see just how many people are able to identify this new account as me, and how many other people get accused of being this account. I think I'd like to set a following goal of 1,000 on TikTok and 100 for YouTube, because I have no hope for the GachaTube community anymore. Really, the only things I can think of that might give me away are my texting mannerisms and the fact that I can't keep my big fat mouth shut. I knew this was going to be torture because I love talking about my ongoing projects, but this time I wasn't allowed to say anything. I, however, did compensate by telling some of my friends about what I was doing. The first step was to go ahead and make the accounts, and I already had a vague idea of the aesthetic I wanted to go for. So I took to Pinterest to find a profile picture I liked. I settled for this one for about 5 minutes before I decided to change it again. Now that I had that, I was able to go ahead and make the accounts. Of course, that process was a no-brainer. But the part I knew was going to take me a while was the part where I actually had to create the body sheet I'd be using for this video. I ended up procrastinating for a whole month, if not even longer, before I even started making it. I knew that if I were to use my usual gacha style, that would be a dead giveaway, as it's a very definite feature of my channel and what people widely recognize me for. But I didn't want to stray away too far from my style, as I need to feel comfortable with the body sheet I create, while it's still being unique enough not to set off too many mental alarms. So I went to Gacha to begin brainstorming some new style ideas, but I came up short. I hated everything I came up with. It looked wrong to me. I think I've gotten so used to my own gacha style that when I try something new, I just can't seem to get it to look right. So I decided to give up and just come up with a quick base for reference and hope that when I take it to Ibis Paint, then I could maybe create a new style I was happy with. And I did more than just that. I even ended up redrawing the face entirely. So with that, it was time to finally create the body sheet I was going to use for this video. I already had a vague concept in mind, so I didn't bother looking for design ideas on Pinterest. But I did get some help when it came to drawing the torso and hands, because I still struggle with anatomy. I don't know if I was able to find the original artists, but I'll link the resources I used in the description. I knew that I wanted to go for something kind of ghoulish, which is why I kept 2 more cool tones. The raging femininity was an accident, but I am most definitely not complaining. After about 13 hours of work, I was finally done with the body sheet. I couldn't have been happier with how it came out, and seeing this final character that I was really happy with made me even more excited to do this undercover video. Another thing I realized is that if any part of the model would give me away, it would definitely be the earrings. People who know me know I love giving my characters big earrings, and even love wearing earrings on myself. Everything seemed perfect, but then alas, I remembered that I actually had to rig the model to be able to use it. A month and few weeks later, I was finally ready to start tweening and posting to this brand new account with hopes to not only achieve a big following, but fool anybody that I possibly could. Of course, to start off the account, we had to post something. I've decided to do an audio that was currently trending with the hopes that it would get me a decent amount of views. I did actually save it as a draft the night beforehand, but waited until the following day to actually post it. After it was up, I logged out and left the account alone for a few hours since I was going to a birthday party that evening. And we'll see how things are going tomorrow. Sometime later that night when I got back to my dorm, I went to scroll on TikTok when suddenly the post popped up on my feed. So that was a bit of an unwanted spoiler. Logging on and seeing that my post had gotten over 700 likes and gained me almost 50 followers. And just the first night was a pleasant surprise. With TikTok having changed the hashtag limit to 5, which only just happened for me a couple of weeks ago, it's been a lot harder to post a successful video, and especially since this is a new account, I'll take what I can get. I went ahead and read and replied to some of the comments, and I thought it was kind of funny seeing some of my mutuals on my main had followed and commented on this new account without realizing that it was me. I was definitely appreciative of all of the sweet comments on this post and motivated me to keep going. Now that I was done with the check-in, I was ready to post my second video. Here's the only time you'll actually see me in frame. Once again, I took another trending audio that I knew would result in a simple edit, since I've noticed it's often the simpler edits that do the best, unfortunately for me. With that, the second post is up, and we can let it simmer until the following day. I had a little bit of a jump scare when I logged onto my main this morning. One of my mutuals had figured me out, and somehow it didn't even surprise me that it was Katsu of all people. The way they worded their message, however, left me believing that they didn't fully believe that it was me. So with that little glint of hope, I tried my best to weasel my way out of it and frame myself as innocent and unknowing. Whether it worked or not, I don't actually know. I haven't talked to them since. But, just to be safe, I went to follow myself and comment on my recent post. I realized that there wasn't much of a point in a check-in since I just saw how the account was doing. So I went straight to posting my third video. How I managed to make a post 3 days in a row still astonishes me, since I know damn well you guys are used to me taking 2 to 3 weeks to actually post something new. Anyway, I was very proud of how this edit came out. I wasn't even really trying to mask my usual editing style. Fun fact, the concept I used in this edit was actually the one I was going to use for my 10K special. Had I not been too lazy to do so. Honestly tempted to re-upload it to give it a better shot at success, because I really want more people seeing it since I put so much effort into it, and I'm really happy with the outcome. Was very happy to see the interaction under this account, even with only 80 followers. I read and replied to all of my comments on the first 2 posts. We reached 100 followers. I was definitely happy to see how much I had gained while I was away. And considering how hard it is to blow up on a new account, I was happy with how things were going thus far. I also have a post ready for today and decided to upload that before doing my check-in, just to give the other posts a couple more minutes.
Watch if you're smart. La, 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 la. Warm it up. La, 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 la. The boys are waiting.
Once again, I went with a trending audio in the hopes that it would better boost my video to the algorithm. And of course, as always, I went to check the comments on the video I had posted yesterday. I don't really know why my account glitched out, but if I'm remembering right, the post had around 160 likes at the time of my checking the account. Also, there's not much to report of the YouTube side of things. I wasn't all that surprised that the videos weren't doing amazing, but I think that the views certainly weren't terrible for a new account. I didn't have a post ready for today, so really all there was to do was check into the account. My recent really hadn't done that great, and I'd only gained a few more followers since the day before. I did notice that even more of my mutuals on my main account had become mutuals with this undercover account as well. Thus far, I'd already gotten a few accusations of sorts. It was kind of fun seeing who people thought was behind this account. I actually follow some of the people that were accused, and they are all incredibly talented creators that you should definitely check out if you have an account on TikTok. We're posting again today.
I like you, so come over right now.
Once again, I used a trending audio, but I was particularly excited to make this video since I really like this song, and it was just a lot of fun to edit too. Since that's it, we'll be back the next day to check in on everything. I had forgotten to record myself checking in on the account, so here's the stats from today. Didn't have a new post ready, but I forgot to record myself checking the accounts, so once again, here's the stats from today. We're posting again today. I don't think the audio I used saw particularly trending, but I really liked the song, so I really wanted to edit to it. After posting it, as per usual, I went to check my other posts. I also decided to check the analytics of each of my posts, having been curious to see which posts had gotten me the most followers. Though it being the first one didn't come as a surprise. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm really good at forgetting to record myself checking my accounts. I had posted the day before as well. Here's how the account is looking so far. Somebody also managed to figure out that it was me, it being one of mutuals on my main account. No post for today. So here's the stats on both accounts. Was glad to see we'd broken 300 on TikTok, and we're halfway to our goal of 100 subs on the YouTube account. Today was the last day before the reveal. So I wanted to make sure I had a post ready so that I could bring more attention to the account before revealing that it was me behind it the whole time. It was a pretty simple edit that didn't take me all that long to make, but I had things to do for school, so it's probably better. I kept it simple. I was also in a hurry to go play the new Cookie Run Kingdom update. I got Silent Salt Cookie on my 3rd try. We had finally reached the final day of this undercover, despite the fact that this account hadn't done as amazing as I had hoped that it would do. I still had a lot of fun on this account, regardless. Once again, I decided to post before doing a check-in.
Tengo su pitonita y para su mujer le tengo una vitamina. Cuando le meto se chilla y cuando los manes me ven solo se quilla.
I noticed a lot of posts of this particular audio doing really good, which is why I had waited until now to use it. It also seemed like the best audio to use for a post of this nature. I think the part of the edit that took me the longest was the lip syncing. It was the most obnoxious and tedious thing I'd ever done, and I can't believe that it took me almost 2 hours just to finish that particular part of the edit. Needless to say, I was up pretty late trying to get this done. After posting, I went to check my other recent, and my mutuals really came into clutch with this one. They are all super awesome and deserve all the love and support in the world. They are just absolutely incredible creators. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't watching the account all day after posting the video and constantly checking in the following day whenever I could. I unfortunately wasn't able to break either following goal, but I don't mind. I'm still happy with how things went. I suppose now it's time to show the final stats. I don't think the YouTube one counts entirely since I had shared here on this channel that was me. So some of you went to check out and subscribe to that account, which is why it's currently at 90 subscribers. But before I had announced this, the account was at about 60 subscribers. I decided to wait until later this evening to grab the stats from TikTok since it was still gaining quite a bit of traction throughout the day. I think this was a really great experiment and I had so much fun doing this. Though I never got to 1K followers on TikTok like I had hoped. Gaining almost 600 in just 2 weeks is a win in my eyes. I'm also insanely impressed with myself for having uploaded so frequently when normally it takes me forever to get even just one video out. I do plan to continue posting to that account since I've been meaning to make an account that was strictly tweening since I want this channel to be more focused on my OCs. As well as other content I want to start posting related to creating OCs since I get a lot of people asking about my designs and writing. I also just really like the body sheet that I created for the account and I want to continue using it. So I would really appreciate it if you followed me there. All of my socials are linked in my bio and I'll also include them in the description of this video. Thank you guys for watching this video, and if you ever want to see more content like this from me, I'd be happy to hear it in the comments below. See y'all in the next one.